Overall, I had many requests to make a tutorial video for the PPG system, so I decided to make one. Many people are confused or exhausted and don't know how to use the Waveterm in combination with the PPG Wave and the PRK. So yeah, I'm gonna make a couple of parts. I'm gonna make a little series of tutorials for the PPG system, and they're gonna be different videos for each part and section. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the Waveterm, and as you can see, it's a Waveterm A and not a B, even though there's the software is for the Waveterm B. So this one has been upgraded to a B version. I'm sadly can't make a video for the A with the A software because I never had experience with one, even though I own one, but they're quite tedious to program and use. So we're gonna work with the Waveterm B software, and yeah, let me just start and explain to you how everything works. So maybe for some of you this is gonna be child's play and I mean basic knowledge, but for some people it's something new, and maybe they can watch this video and decide if they want to buy a Waveterm, is it worth it or not. So yeah, let's just start. To boot the Waveterm, it's the same for the B and A. The booting process is the same. So you need a boot disk, which is this one. I have. It's a Waveterm A boot disk. So you're gonna, the left drive is called on the manual, it's called drive 0, and the right drive is called drive 1. This is gonna be useful when you copy or delete stuff, and it's quite helpful. So you put the boot disk in the left drive, or also called drive 0. Close the lid. The Waveterm automatically starts to boot up. If it doesn't start automatically, just press the restart button. On this system it's I believe on the back or front, I'm not sure, but I think they're same. So press the red button if it doesn't boot by itself. So when you enter the screen, I mean there's not much you can do on this screen. It's just a screen for information. As you can see it here, this lists up all the let me just adjust the brightness. So as you can see, this just lists up all the components that are connected. A component can be a wave, a PRK, or an expansion voice unit, or even a HDU, hard disk recorder. You can connect up to, I guess, 4 or 5 multiple synthesizers or expansion voice units to get up to a 32 track recording system. Yeah, I mean as you can see, currently there's just the Wave 2.3 connected, and by the way, this tutorial is for all the waves, just not the 2.0, because it doesn't have the same features. So don't be afraid, you can use this tutorial for your 2.2 or 2.3. So as you can see, there's just one wave connected here. It says number 6, that's just a version. The latest version, I believe, is the version 8.3. So currently I have version 6. Here you can, this one, this display is used to set your split points, and I guess that's it. And as you can see here, 0 to 7 are the different channels you have on your wave. If you have a 2.3, you have 8 voice multi-timbral. That means you can load 8 different sounds for each voice. So let's say, as you can see, this is T625. That means T625 is loaded in the first voice. The funny thing about this is they use 0 as 1. So you're gonna see sometimes it says 1 to 8 or 0 to 7, but it's the same. So currently this Waveterm just shows some stuff, even though it's not loaded. So yeah, that's the first screen. You can't do much here. Like I said, you can make like groups and then split points and everything. I don't use that. It's not necessary. Let's continue. To escape this page, to choose a page, you press escape once. You will be greeted with the first page, page 1. We're gonna focus today on the page 9, the disk handling page. You press 9 down here, the page 9. It's very important that the cursor is always up here, so you see where it's blinking. There are arrows where you can choose where to be. So, but what I do most of the time, I just press escape multiple times or just once, and it will automatically direct you to the page select section. So once you press escape or manually go to that section, you press 9 to get to the page handling. And then this is the most important page, I'd say, on the Waveterm. So let's say we want to format a disk or load something. So before you start, let's say you don't have any factory disks or whatever, you want to format a new disk. You need to put a sticker here to protect it, to make it write protected. This is, for example, a factory disk. It's automatically write protected. But you just put the new disk in the write drive or drive number 1. You close it up, and before you format, you have to name it. I mean, it's not a must, but I recommend you. Otherwise, everything will be named the same. So, if you want to name a disk, as you can see, our cursor is here. So we move down once. We're on get. We go left. We're on format. Then we press right again. We're on disk number. So now you can choose what disk number this is. For example, disk number 1. We go right again. We choose the name. To get inside writing the name, you press any number down. So don't press anything up. Press any number, let's say 6, and you've entered the naming page. As you can see, here are letters. You can write your own name for the disk. So let's just write A, B, C, D. And to escape this page, it's a little bit stupid. You have to press space multiple times to escape it. As you can see, the cursor needs to get out. So yes, he left it. So now you can go right, put in the date. Just let's say the 20th, whatever, 5th, 2013. No, 2023. Sorry. And you press format. And when you press execute, it says are you sure? And then it asks you scratch disk in drive 1, which is this drive, the right drive. And you press execute again. I'm not gonna format it because it's already formatted and there's stuff on there. But yeah, it's really basic, nothing too complicated. So the formatting is completed, and you will get a message on the comment section, formatting completed. So I accidentally formatted it, but whatever, we're gonna work with it. Yeah, let's just get into the loading stuff. So this one is now clean, it's been formatted. You can now record stuff on it and then sample stuff and everything. It's really important when you want to save stuff or delete it, you have to remove the sticker, because now it's write protected. You can even save stuff. So yeah, just for information, keep this in mind all the time. So let's just load a simple sample. As you can hear, no, nothing's connected. Give me a second. So my brother is gonna help me out here. He's gonna press record, F9. So yeah, now we can hear the wave.
I'm gonna make it louder.
No, I'm gonna put it on a separate track. So now let's load a sample. So we're gonna use the factory library here. It's the, if you ask yourself what this means, that means it's recorded in 1984, and it's the library number 4 or disk number 4. So 1984, disk number 4. We're gonna load it, put it in the write drive, And now, very important, you have to be on page 9. As you can see, I was in the format section. I pressed escape once, and then it put me automatically on page selection. So you choose page 9, we're already there. Then when you put a disk inside, you have to go to find. Okay, it needs to find a disk. You go down, left, down, down. Press execute. Great. Now it shows you everything what's on the disk. You can press execute again to search more or whatever. Press execute again, and it brings you back to the beginning. So let's say, let me explain something really quickly. It's important. Here are different type of samples, files, I guess, called T files, M files, D or S or E, and they do, every file does something special. So a T file, as you can see here, T050, loads only one sample. An M file, for example here, M00, loads multiple samples. M means multiple. T means transient, just one transient. So if you want to load one sound, you have to go on page 3. I don't know why it's not possible to load one sound on page 9. I don't know why. You press escape again, multiple times. It brings you here to page 9. We press 3 now to go to page 3. We go down on get, because we want to get a sound. If you want to change or save something, you press 6 is forward, 5 is backwards. So 6, save, 5 is backwards, that's get. So we go right again. Now it asks us what are we trying to get. So we try to get a T sound. We go right again, and we're gonna choose a T sound. So I know one in my head, it's called 040, it's a bass. So we're gonna press 040 and then execute. As you can see, we've successfully loaded a sound. That's the famous PPG bass sound. Yeah, that's loading one sample. On page 3, I'm gonna make a different video on sampling and cutting samples and manipulating it, whatever. But let's just go back on page 9 again. I press all the time, like multiple times, escape. So it brings me to the page section. We press 9 again, and we go on to find, and it shows us again the disks. Let me just adjust it again. So now let's say we wanna load a multi-sample, like 5 sounds at once. Oh, this is also important. Let's go back on page 0. Page 0 is the main page when you boot up the system. So we're gonna press escape multiple times again. Page 0. So as you can see, we've loaded one T file inside one voice. And as you can see, it's written here, T040. 0 is like 1, but whatever. We loaded one on one voice. And this is also important. Forget this one, I don't know why this one is shown. So let's go back on find and load a multi-sample. For example, this one, M000. So it's important, you can't load multi-samples on page 3 or any other page. Maybe on page 5, but I'm gonna get to that later. You can only load multi-samples on page 9 and page 5. So you go back here on get again, we go right, and we choose what file are we gonna get. So now it's written C, we don't want a C file. A C file is a compound file. I'm gonna get to that later also. So we're gonna press 6 forward, again, M, so we've got M here. And we're gonna type in which file, so we're gonna choose M000. So we press execute, and what this does, it's now loading, I believe 8 sounds, or what's written here, 1, 2, 3, 4 sounds, I guess. Let us check. You can always check what's loaded on each voice by going to page 0. Now as you can see, we've loaded 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sounds. The rest, forget this one. I don't know why this shows up. And you can see this multi-sample file already has a split point. So when you play, you have this sound on this side of the keyboard. You have this sound on this side of the keyboard. And etc, etc. Yeah, you can put like any other split points, whatever. It's really confusing. I don't really understand it, but you can experiment with it. I'm gonna get to that later. So we're gonna go back to page 9 again. We press escape. We're gonna press 9 and then go on to find. So that's really the basics. Really the basics for loading sounds. And if you want to load manually, let's say on voice, you have like, let's say on the PPG, you have like multi-timbral 8 sounds, and you want to load on the 5th voice a sound, and not on the first one all the time. So you go on page 5. Page 5 is the event generator. It's the sequencer page, but this one allows you to load sounds on individual voices. So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That corresponds to the 8 voices the wave has. So let's say you want to load something on the 5th voice, or how they say it, the 6th voice, because 0 is 1. So let's say we want to load something on the 6th voice in the wave. On the 5th. Yeah, that's confusing. Let's just say on the 5th voice we put 0, 4, 1, and like again you see these are the different waves or EVUs, expansion voice units that are connected. We currently have only one, so this row is only for the one we have connected. So we want to load something on the 5th voice. We press you can choose whatever C or T file. We want to choose a transient sound. We type in 040, press execute, go back on page 0 to check. As you can see, it's loaded on the 5th sound or the 6th, whatever voice in the wave. It's loaded 040 bass. And when I go here on the wave, where is it? Oh yeah, I can't play it because it's a multi-sound and it's split pointed. Whatever. You get you get what I mean. It's really not complicated, it's easy. They're just the basics. So yeah, that's about it for the loading. So I'm gonna show you now how to save sounds on each disc. Let's say you have loaded a disc on the right drive or the drive 1, and you have to remove you have to put the disc inside which one you want to save it on. So let's say I'm gonna put a new disc, a fresh formatted disc in the drive 1. This one. Oh. Close it up. And then you have to remove the system disk, which is in the left drive, this one, system disk, and put in the disk you want to copy. So let's say this factory disk you've put in the left drive where the system disk was, and in the right drive you put in the formatted disk. So now you press escape multiple times so that it puts you on the page selection screen. You go down, and instead of get, we don't want to get anything, we want to save. So we press 6. Number 6 is like forward, number 5 is go back. So we press 6 or choose save, and it asks us what do we want to save. So we want to save what inside the you want to choose if you want to save a transient sound, a multi-sample sound from that disk, like from the factory disk. So you choose what you want to save from this to this. So let's say we want to save a bass. I'm gonna choose save T for transient sound and put in the file number, that's 040. I'm gonna press execute. Okay, I did a massive mistake. You don't want to press save. You want to copy it. Stupid rookie mistake. But just put in copy instead of save. Save is, I'm gonna explain later, that's when you sample something or sequence stuff. So put in save, put in copy, not save, sorry. And press which file you want to copy and the file number, and press execute. It asks you now, original file is in drive 0, like I told you, and copy in drive 1. So press execute. Drives are working. Now it says the specific file already exists. Do you want to delete it? Yes. That's just because the same file is already on the new disk that I formatted. So it's done. We can check it. Go to find. As you can see, base T040 is loaded in the new disk. Yeah, that's about it for the copying, and I guess that's the basics. And you don't, to start working with the waveform, you don't need anything more. So let's go into the sequencing.